I cannot believe how fast this year is going by, but I'm always excited to plan a new month. I'm gonna feel way more refreshed. And on top of things, it is April 28th right now. Whatever day it is for you, grab your iPad and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do actually before I get into the actual planner is that I want to change this home screen. So all you need to do is make sure you save that to your camera roll and then go to your settings, your wallpaper, add a new wallpaper and go to photos. I'm gonna go to all and it is this one. And I kind of was inspired by like a little scrapbooking moment. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm gonna make sure it looks good in the portrait version like this. Okay, and once you have it set up the way you like in portrait, make sure you turn your iPad over into the landscape mode, and then you can kind of adjust this and make sure it looks good in the landscape as well. This is something I always do. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some widgets. I'm gonna grab the MD clock one. This is one of my favorites. It's like a little pixelated beating heart, and I think it's so cute. I'm gonna do my pencil. Let's do the weather. Okay, so that's that. And then in the portrait, I'm gonna add a couple as well. I'm gonna do a stopwatch here because I always set stopwatches on my iPad. And then I'm gonna do the weather again, and I want a little animated one. I'm gonna grab this little Pixel Pals one and move this up here, and now it looks super cute. You can also, of course, tap and change your font and the size of your time. I like this the way it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it and press add. I'm gonna customize my home screen here and go ahead and pick a color. I'm gonna do this orange, maybe a little bit lighter. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and select done, and I'm gonna make wallpapers for your desktop as well as your phone. So if you like that wallpaper, I will have them up available in all the sizes. Okay, now that we've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and open my planner. I have a little shortcut here. I'm gonna go ahead and open that and then scroll over and hop over to May. Make sure, again, I've said this like 100 times, but if you have your pen tools on and your top bar is blue there, if you tap any of your links, they're not gonna click. If you turn it off and it's gray, you'll be able to click through to your links. So now we're in May, and I have a little bit of a process here. I have my monthly spread, but I also have my monthly goals sheet, and I have a vision board as well as a habit tracker, and that's what we'll fill out together. I also have a budget, but I do that sheet with my husband. So it is there, and it's pretty like self-explanatory. The other ones, I'll show you exactly how I kind of fill them out. So the first thing I like to do is start with this goal sheet. You are able to swipe through to them, or you can use these little icons here in the goal section and tap through to your goals that way, so whatever your preference is. And I have a little bit of a process to set my goals. The first thing I do is brain dump everything going on for the month. Then I write down last month's wins, and then I write down a monthly intention. And that puts me in a really good headspace to set my goals. I don't set an exorbitant amount of goals every month. I set 3, and I set a start date and a deadline for all of them, as well as I fill in a little checklist of action items. And on the bottom, I have a progress bar that I can fill in, and I can kind of check off the list as I go through the month. And I find this to be super helpful. And after that, I'm gonna take those 3 goals and move them over into my monthly page so I can see them all the time and check them off as I go. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do, and we can do that together. And once I have this filled out, I like to go ahead and grab the highlighter, and I just go through and I will just color code my goals for the month. This is something I've kind of always done. So that's what I'm gonna do here. It's kind of fun to just kind of add a little bit of color into my black and white spreads. So I think that's all I'm really gonna do. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab that pen tool again, and I'm gonna write in those goals, those 3 goals that I just set, into this little goal section in my actual monthly spread. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is just write in my whole schedule for the month. This is something that is obviously like important and pretty straightforward about a planner, but I do think the difference between people who stick to a plan versus people who don't are people who stick to a plan write in their fun plans too. So I will plan out my vacation, I will plan out my weekends, I'm gonna write in all the fun things that I have to do, and I don't like to overcrowd my planner. I look at this when I am setting up appointments and meetings and things throughout the week. So I wanna make sure that I can see my availability at a glance. So I'm not just gonna cram everything in here just like randomly. I will put in like deadlines that I'm trying to hit. The nice thing about digital planning is I could just erase as I go and I can move things around, but I like to plan out the things I'm looking forward to as well as just work related things. So I think of this as a life planner, not just like a work planner or a productivity planner, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. And the other thing I like to do after that is color code again. So I color code all my personal stuff in a color, I color code all of my work stuff in one color, and then I color code all my side hustle stuff in another color, so that if I'm again looking at my schedule for the week, I'm able to know like if a week is particularly heavy in one kind of task over another, and then I'll know if I can squeeze in more things or if I need to take something off my plate. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. The next thing I'm gonna do is add some stickers. I think this is like a really fun thing to do. I make these stickers and I have them in the shop. I have whole videos dedicated to how to add them into the sticker section, but it is really convenient to have this little tab with all of my fun little stickers in here. So I'm gonna go through and add any of the fun little stickers that I want to. Again, I think this just makes me someone that uses my planner a lot more because I will put in fun stickers for things I'm looking forward to. And my planner is not just about getting work done, it's also about looking forward to things. And I do think that that makes me someone who uses my planner a lot more. I've noticed a lot of people talking about how they can't stick to systems. And I do think it's because a lot of people make their systems really hard and not very fun. And I think that is kind of part of the problem. I like to add all these like fun and motivating little stickers as well. So I'm gonna stick that in here. And the other thing I like to do is add little vision boards. So I'm gonna do a little vision board here and then I'm gonna do my big vision board for the month. And they're both done in pretty much the same way. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this into the landscape version here. And then I'm just gonna swipe up from the bottom bar here so I get to see all of my quick little apps in the dock. I'm gonna grab my Safari and I'm gonna pull it to one side and open it up in split screen. And now I'm just gonna open up the little Pinterest board I made for this month. Just so fun to do. And I'm just going to pull some of them, some of my little inspo images, some of the things that I'm looking forward to for the month. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it into my little vision board section. And that's my monthly page done, but I like to make this a little bit more fun. So I have an entire vision board that I like to do. I'm gonna do that in the same way. I'm gonna pull my Safari open. If you use Safari to use your Pinterest versus the actual Pinterest app, that's how you're gonna be able to drag and drop everything. So if you're wondering why you can't drag and drop and you're using the Pinterest app, that is why. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag and drop in some of these images. I like to kind of set them as I go. Some people like to drag them all in at once and then move them around. I think it's just like a fun little practice to play around with it and get it to look how you like. And another thing I like to do sometimes is screenshot it and then add it as my phone background. So it's a fun little thing to do and I find it super easy and kind of therapeutic as well. Another thing you can do with your images is you can tap on them and hit the crop button. You have two options for crop. You can do rectangle or freehand. The freehand makes it kind of look like you've cut it out of a magazine. You really can go and do whatever you want. The rectangle is what I use to just kind of crop an image, but keep it, you know, looking crisp. Like this one I think could look really cute cut out. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap it, hit crop, and then freehand, and then I'm just gonna kind of freehand right around the little design here, and then hit done. And now it kind of looks like I cut this right out of a magazine, and it's super cute. It gives it more of that kind of scrapbooky junk journal vibe, which I'm really into this month. And that is my vision board for the month. It's super fun. And the last thing I'm gonna do is fill out my habit tracker. So I have this little habit tracker wheel, and I can check off all my daily habits. I'm gonna write them in this little section here. And then I'm gonna just copy and paste over my goals and what's going on for the month, as well as this little vision board here. And then go back over to my habit tracker, and I'm gonna hold down and paste. This is all using the little lasso tool, so I don't have to write that out twice. Again, another thing I love about digital planning. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one that hangs off the edge, and then now I'm just gonna write in my daily habits for the month. And if you've never seen my habit tracker before, it's really easy to fill in. I just like to use the highlighter tool, and I personally like to use the smallest setting. And then I'll just zoom in here, and I just color in the square like that. And I will use personally a different color for each one, but you can do the same one. You can do whatever you'd like. And that is it. I will fill out my budget page later, but I have my habit tracker, my vision board, my goal sheet, and my entire schedule for the month done. I feel so much better, and I'm ready to go and get into my work. So I hope this was helpful. If you like these kinds of videos, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Bye.